In the last video, we talked about needs versus wants and how most people can't tell the difference. Today, we're getting specific. We're talking about the biggest money mistakes people make in their 20s, the decade that sets the tone for your entire financial life. Here's the thing. Your 20s are when you have your greatest asset, time. But most people waste it. They make preventable mistakes that cost them hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars over their lifetime. So if you're in your 20s right now, pay attention. If you're past your 20s, watch anyway, because you probably know someone who needs to hear this. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1, not starting to invest. This is the big one. The biggest, most expensive mistake you can make in your 20s is not investing. And I'm not talking about waiting until you're 30 or 35. I'm talking about not starting right now, today, this year. Here's why this is so costly. Compound interest. Let's say you're 23 years old and you start investing $300 a month in a Roth IRA. You do this until you're 65. At an 8% average annual return, you'll have about $1.3 million. Now let's say you wait until you're 30 to start. Same $300 a month, same 8% return. You'll end up with about $700,000. You waited 7 years and it cost you $600,000. That's not a typo. 7 years of delay cost you over $500,000. That's the power of compound interest, and that's why not investing in your 20s is financial suicide. But here's what people say. I'll start investing when I make more money. I'll start when I pay off my debt. I'll start when I feel more stable. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You start now with whatever you can, even if it's $50 a month. The habit matters more than the amount. The people who win financially are the ones who start early, not the ones who start big. Mistake number 2, going into debt for a lifestyle. Student loans are one thing. We can debate whether college is worth it, but at least there's an argument that it's an investment in your future. But going into debt for a lifestyle? That's just dumb. Credit card debt for clothes, vacations, electronics, furniture, eating out. Car loans for vehicles you can't afford. Personal loans for weddings. This is how people in their 20s destroy their financial future before it even begins. Here's the reality. If you can't afford it in cash, you can't afford it. Period. I don't care how low the monthly payment is. I don't care how good the interest rate is. If you're borrowing money to fund your lifestyle, you're living beyond your means. Let me give you some numbers. The average credit card interest rate right now is about 22%. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt and you're only paying the minimum, it'll take you over 20 years to pay off, and you'll pay over $8,000 in interest. That's $8,000 you're giving to a bank for absolutely nothing. Money that could have been invested, that could have grown, that could have set you up for life. Instead, it's gone, vaporized, because you couldn't delay gratification. Here's the rule: cash only for lifestyle purchases. If you want something and you don't have the cash, save up for it. I know that's old-fashioned. I know it's not sexy, but it works. Mistake number 3, buying a new car. Let me be blunt. Buying a new car in your 20s is one of the dumbest financial moves you can make. And yet, people do it all the time. Here's what happens. You graduate college, you get your first real job, and you think, I'm an adult now, I need a nice car. So, you walk into a dealership and you drive out with a $35,000 car and a $600 monthly payment for 6 years. Congratulations, you just locked yourself into financial mediocrity. That's $7,000 a year that could have been invested. Over 30 years, that's over $800,000 in lost wealth. But here's what really kills me. New cars lose 20 to 30% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot. You're literally paying a premium to lose money faster. Instead, buy a used car, a Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla that's 3 to 5 years old. Pay cash if you can, or finance it for no more than 3 years if you have to. You'll get reliable transportation for a fraction of the cost, and you'll actually have money left over to build wealth. I know this isn't what you want to hear. I know you want the new car smell and the backup camera and the Bluetooth connectivity, but what you need is transportation and financial freedom. Choose wisely. Mistake number 4, lifestyle inflation. This one sneaks up on you. You get your first job making $40,000 a year. You're living in a small apartment with roommates, cooking at home, being careful with money. Then you get a raise. Now you're making $50,000, then $60,000, then $70,000. And somewhere along the way, you move into a nicer apartment. You start eating out more, you upgrade your wardrobe, you get a nicer car, you add more subscriptions, and before you know it, you're making $70,000 a year and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's a trap. The problem isn't that you're not making enough money. The problem is that your spending is growing as fast as your income. Here's what you should do instead. Every time you get a raise, pretend you didn't. Keep living on your old salary and invest the difference. If you go from $50,000 to $60,000, that extra $10,000 should go straight into your investment accounts. This is how people actually build wealth. Not by making a ton of money, but by maintaining a stable lifestyle while their income grows. Mistake number 5, not having an emergency fund. Let's talk about financial security. Most people in their 20s have $0 in savings. Zero. They're living on the edge, one unexpected expense away from disaster. Here's what happens. Your car breaks down and you need a $1,000 repair. You don't have the cash, so you put it on a credit card. Now you're in debt. Then your hours get cut at work. You can't pay your credit card bill, so the interest starts piling up. Then you need to see a doctor, but you can't afford the copay. So you don't go, and a small problem becomes a big problem. This is the broke person's cycle, and it all starts with not having an emergency fund. Here's the rule. Save $1,000 as fast as humanly possible. Cut every unnecessary expense, work overtime, sell stuff, do whatever it takes. Get that $1,000 in a savings account that you don't touch unless it's an actual emergency. Once you have that, work toward 3 to 6 months of expenses. If your monthly expenses are $2,000, you need $6,000 to $12,000 in an emergency fund. This is your financial foundation. Without it, you're building on sand. Mistake number 6, ignoring your credit score. Your 20s are when you build your credit history, and most people have no idea how important this is. Your credit score affects everything, whether you can rent an apartment, what interest rate you get on a mortgage, whether you can get approved for a loan, even whether you can get certain jobs. Here's what kills your credit: missing payments, maxing out credit cards, not having any credit history, opening too many accounts at once, and having collections or judgments. Here's how you build good credit. Pay every bill on time, every time. Keep your credit card utilization below 30%. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit, don't carry more than $300 in balance. Have a mix of credit types, like a credit card, and maybe a small installment loan. And keep your oldest credit accounts open. If you're in your 20s and you've been ignoring your credit score, check it right now. You can get a free report from annualcreditreport.com. See where you stand and fix any problems immediately. Mistake number 7, not negotiating your salary. Here's a mistake that compounds over your entire career. Accepting the first salary offer without negotiating. Most people in their 20s are so excited to get a job offer that they just say yes without asking for more money. Big mistake. Here's why. Your future raises are usually based on a percentage of your current salary. So if you start at $50,000 when you could have negotiated for $55,000, that $5,000 difference multiplies over your entire career. Let's do the math. Say you get a 3% raise every year. Starting at $50,000, after 30 years, you'll have earned about $2.4 million. Starting at $55,000, you'll have earned about $2.6 million. That's a $200,000 difference because you didn't negotiate one time. Always negotiate. The worst they can say is no, and most of the time they'll meet you somewhere in the middle. Even an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a year matters. Mistake number 8, paying for grad school you don't need. This one's controversial, but it needs to be said. Most people going to grad school in their 20s are making a massive financial mistake. They're taking on $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 in debt for degrees that won't increase their earning potential enough to justify the cost. Let me be clear. If you're becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or going into a field where a graduate degree is absolutely required, that's different. But if you're getting a master's degree in something vague because you don't know what else to do with your life, stop. You're better off working, gaining experience, and investing your money. Real-world experience is often more valuable than another degree, and it doesn't cost you 6 figures. Before you go to grad school, ask yourself, will this degree increase my income enough to justify the cost and the opportunity cost of not working? If the answer isn't a clear yes, don't do it. Mistake number 9, not learning financial basics. Here's a harsh truth. Most people in their 20s are financially illiterate. They don't know what a Roth IRA is. They don't know the difference between a stock and a bond. They don't know how interest works. They don't understand taxes. And because they don't know these things, they make bad decisions. They pay financial advisors 2% fees to manage their money when they could do it themselves with index funds. They put their savings in a checking account earning 0 interest when they could put it in a high-yield savings account earning 4 or 5%. They don't take advantage of their employer's 401k match, which is literally free money. Financial education is not taught in schools, so you have to teach yourself. Read books, watch videos like this one, learn the basics, understand how money works. This knowledge will save you or make you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Mistake number 10, surrounding yourself with broke people. This last one is uncomfortable but true. You become like the people you spend time with. If all your friends are broke, if they're living paycheck to paycheck, if they're making bad financial decisions, there's a very high chance you'll do the same. It's not that you need to abandon your friends, but you do need to be intentional about who you're taking advice from and who's influencing your decisions. If your friend group thinks it's normal to spend $300 at brunch every weekend, you need a new friend group. If everyone around you is financing lifestyles they can't afford, you need to distance yourself from that influence. Find people who are doing it right. People who are saving, investing, building businesses, creating multiple income streams. Those are the people who will push you to be better. Final thoughts. Your 20s are the most important financial decade of your life. The mistakes you make now will cost you exponentially more than mistakes you make later. But the good news is, you still have time to fix them. Start investing today, avoid lifestyle debt, drive a used car, resist lifestyle inflation, build an emergency fund, protect your credit score, negotiate your salary, be smart about grad school, learn financial basics, and surround yourself with people who are winning financially. Do these things and you'll be light years ahead of your peers by the time you hit 30. In the next video, we're going to answer the question everyone asks: how much should you actually save each month? We'll break down the exact numbers based on your income and your goals. Drop a comment and let me know which of these mistakes you've made or which one you see people around you making. I'll see you in the next one.